Welcome to Journey. Journey is that place where we highlight our trials in life and our victories in God. On today's episode, I will be serving you as the host. My name is Blanley Oyedira. Come with me as we journey together on today's episode. See you on the other side. Welcome everyone to yet another episode of Journey Season 3, themed God's Business. And as you know, for the past 5 weeks, we've been talking about entrepreneurship, structures that is needed to run a successful business. And we've had amazing guests across the world come on board to share their stories and their journey with us. If you're joining us for the first time, my name is Bola Oyediro, and I am so privileged to serve you today as your host. And of course, today's episode is so special. But before I talk about today's episode, for our first-time watchers or listeners, Journey is a place where we come together to highlight our trials in life and our victories in God. However, today is super special, because we will be rounding up Journey Season 3, God's Business, on today's episode. So I welcome you officially to Journey Season 3 finale. Yay! I'm sure you're excited. Get your popcorns, your drinks, and join us. Now, joining us today to wrap up this amazing series is a man known across the world. And I say that with emphasis. This is a man with a global vision, a global collaborator, and a global communicator. His name is David Douglas, a man that resides in Ghana, but yet has touches across the world. He is the founder and the leader of a weekly series called David Douglas Leadership Series. Yes, he will be coming on board to share with us how he's been able to run his leadership organization, touching lives across the world successfully. I'm sure you don't want to miss it. Now, let me pause there, because I would definitely not do justice in introducing this man. I will pass on the baton to him to introduce himself even much more. Welcome with me, ladies and gentlemen, David Douglas.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am super excited to be with you on this platform today in a time such as this. Thank you so much for the opportunity to invite me here tonight. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you
Right.
so much. On behalf of everyone at Wonderful Way CIC, thank you for answering the call. Now,
Blessings.
So, Mr. David Douglas, the theme for this Journey Season 3 is God's business. And when it comes to businesses and entrepreneurship, we often hear stories such as, oh, I was sleeping and the Lord told me this is what I should do. And we've had instances when people say, actually, my business or what I do came out of a place of passion or a place of pain or a place of experience. Or some people will say, I actually inherited this line of business. Please tell us your story. How did you get into leadership business?
Very well. Once again, thank you so much. Yes, to share my story, how we begin, and your topic or your theme for what you are doing, my journey. Journey is where we begin, and journey tells about the starting point of everything.
Yeah.
So journey explains how we begin. Most of the times, people meet you on your journey halfway, and they really do not know how the journey began. So the story that they get to know is the success story. But behind the success story, there is also another story, which is not, good for other people to listen to. The last time that I spoke on my platform, I was telling people about the journey of Joseph. I spoke to people about the journey of David. And now we go to churches and people pray prayers and they want to be like Joseph, from prison to prime minister. Are you ready for 15 years in prison? There are some people, when they give them 1 year, they will come back crying. Are you ready to be in the desert? At a point, David, even the whole family forgot about him, because
Yeah.
when Samuel went to the house and they have to scan through the whole house asking everybody. Samuel, one of the greatest prophet of all time, got there and also miss it out and look at David's brother and say, this is the one that God is looking for. And God said, no, David was entirely forgotten about. Are you ready for that journey? So how do our journey begin with David Douglas Leadership Forum? Well, it's simple but tough a little bit. The organization began with medical screening. That was what we started with. We started with medical screening with prisons and with communities. So we were doing this for deprived communities, where we collaborate with pharmaceutical companies that are in the country, Ghana, where I am speaking from now, and also with other few individuals who has interest in community health. So we put the team together, and when we had a team together, we choose location where we want to go. It get to a point we realized that the prisons need us more than the communities, because they are not having any attention from the society, neither from the government or anything like that. So their medical challenge is more than we could equate it to the community. So we draw more attention into the prison. So it is when we begin to go to the prisons that we realize the number of youth that are in prison. And I would say that the number of youth whose destinies are in prison. Wow. So realizing this number of youth that are in prison, what we decided to do at the time is, no, something could be the problem, and we need to find out. So what we did was to touch base with the prison service and to seek permission to interview these individuals, the youth, mostly youth, to find out what their problem is and what actually caused some of them to lose their bearing, find their life over there, because some of them are 6 years, some of them are 7 years, 10, 15 years. The minimum was 3 or 2 years. And that was alarming. So after this research, we realized that most of them, some of them are not motivated enough from their family members, and some of them it is guidance. They do not have guidance and things like that. So when you put all this together, you realize that leadership is missing out of it. Because if we have proper leadership from our homes, there are basic things that are taught from the house. And most at time, I talk about personal leadership, which is self-leadership. Because before you become a leader, it is how best you manage, or you know how to lead yourself. The way you direct your paths, that is what will connect people to you. So when we realize this, what we did at the time again is, if it is a problem of leadership, then it is also a problem of purpose. Because if you know your purpose, then you will know which direction you are moving to in life. There are certain associations or companies you will not keep. Because if you know where you are going, you will really know the people that you need in your life to guide you or to take you there. So to make our case better, that when you are sharing with somebody, they will believe what you are doing or what you have done, we also decided to do a research on people who, some way, somehow, they were not successful in education, but they are successful in business. And I love entrepreneurship aspect of what we are coming to do tonight. So we did those research. We did both locally and internationally. And our interview with the inmates, some of them, have lower education, middle education. Some of them have higher education and others like that. So we decided that, okay, so if that is the case, then we have to find a methodology to this. And what could be the methodology? Because we need to do thorough research into this. What can we do now to cap, that issue of youth not getting to identify who they are and they involve themselves into things that may not help them to live a successful life in life. So what we did was we did research on some people internationally, like Bill Gates. We did research on Bill Gates. We did on Steve Jobs, and then we did on KFC. Now, when you research about these people, you realize that these are people who, at a tender age, identify their purpose, and then they drive into it. So when they drive into that, by consistency and purposefully knowing what they want and what is the direction for their life and destiny, they are successful at it. So when you look at Steve Jobs and then you look at Bill Gates, they are on same pedestal. They are on same page what they were doing. But the difference is KFC. KFC, because KFC was somebody who went through education, he was in the working field, but he clearly could not connect with his destiny when he was young. Bill Gates connected with his destiny when he was young. Steve Jobs connected with his destiny when he was young, but KFC connected to his destiny after 60 years of age. So you ask yourself, what are the dangers and how can you bring this to the notice or to the realization of the youth? So we have a program we call talent identification. We run this program with the senior high schools and some community schools. So the platform, actually, we work with professors and doctors, PhD holders. So we have one Dr. Meshach Agogwe who developed a program for us, and we use that program as an assessment for students to help them to identify their gift and their talent. And when we know what you are capable of doing, we have a way by which we can help you and guide you. So it's like a career guidance that we help them to do. So from the prison, when we realized this and we did this research, what we decided to do is to set up a leadership platform where we can connect the youth to this platform and to be able to help them. To those who need to identify their talent, we help them. Those who need practical leadership in their life, we help them. Now, the question is, this is a leadership platform, but we don't want to own the platform to ourselves. We want something that can live even if we are not there. So the destiny of it, or the future of the platform. So we decided that, okay, if that is what it's supposed to be, then we don't need to have only one speaker on this platform and people are connected to that speaker. So if tomorrow we don't have that speaker, then it means that the platform is shut down. So what we decided to do is to connect to a variety of speakers. And in connecting with that, we reached out to the John Maxwell certified team members. Actually, the initial plan was to connect with the John Maxwell team. But again, thinking of the future of the organization, if you have to connect with any organization platform which is big as the John Maxwell platform, you need to look at equilibrium. Because if you are not careful, the name David Douglas now will be swallowed by John Maxwell. So whatever work that you are doing, people will equate that to the John Maxwell. team. So even though that opportunity was there at the time for us to collaborate with John Maxwell to do this work here in Africa, we decided not to go for the John Maxwell team, but rather to connect with the certified team members. And that was what we did.
Wow.
God has been so good when we started it. We've never struggled in connecting with speakers. We've been with the John Maxwell certified team members. We have been with other international leadership platforms. We work with the Arizona State University for entrepreneurship programs. We work with Tenderbird School for Global Management. And I will say God has been so good to us that when we started this, challenge as people may say that some organizations go through to establish what they want to do. We have not gone through those challenges, and God has opened door unto us. We've had people with high status, high profile, who are willing and interested in what we are doing. They connect with us. Some of them travel all the way from the States to Ghana, do some of the programs that we run with us. And recently, Prof. P.K. Richardson, who is a senior lecturer at Manchester University, always on the platform, launched his book. These are class of people that we're talking about who has this platform at heart and who has given their life to it to do everything possible to ensure that, yes, this platform is sustained and whatever we are doing, we do it successfully to the glory of God. So I will say in the synopsis, this has been the journey of David Douglas Leadership Forum.
Wow. 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 I'm sure there's somebody out there probably going through the outreach phase or stage at the moment. And then you're thinking, why am I so passionate about this thing that I kept on doing? So David Douglas Leadership Forum started from just an outreach of reaching people in prisons,
Right.
in the private areas, and then you saw even a bigger need. And now
Right.
you've found a place where that need can be
Right.
solved just
Right.
through this leadership forum. Thank
Very
you
well.
very much. Now, another question I would love to ask is, when you discovered and made up your mind that, okay, this is it, all they need is an equipped resource. They need to be equipped, I mean, with great resource or mind changing resource. That's the word I'm looking for. And just have a change of mindset for them
Right.
to move from where they are to where they can become to reach their potentials. Was there any plan that was put into place? So I want to believe David Douglas Leadership Program is registered because I follow you on social media. And yes, I do see the high profile people that have collaborated with you across the globe. With such a level of work that you are doing, is there a business plan in place? Like you said, you do not want David Douglas to just come and go. You're thinking of posterity. So with that in mind, is there a business plan in place that you've put in place for this? And would you advise that anyone looking to go into such a work that you do, because it is a different, and it's a different kind of entrepreneurship journey that we often hear, would you advise them to put a business plan in place or not? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, so organizations such as this, we're talking about leadership. So leadership means that doing something that people can connect with and they can follow you. If you are a leader and you can turn your back and there is nobody following you, then you are not a leader. So if you are a leader, you should have followers.
Yeah.
And if you are having a followers, then it means that you have to your settings has to be right. Because the reason for you to come up with a platform is that there are some missing links that you have identified. And identifying those missing links, it means that you want to fill in those gaps and then to ensure to teach people and to lead people through the right path. So if a platform such as this, which is into leadership, you will always ensure that you have everything right in place, which is the structures that is to help you to be able to do things and to do them right. And some of them, you call them guiding principles to the organization. So, to your question, yes, the organization is duly registered. We are registered with the Ghana Registrar, the Registrar General. And then when you are done registering with the Registrar General, you also have to register with the Social Welfare. After the social welfare, you need to also register with the police service because they have to do due diligence on your board of directors, on the yes, the directors of the organization to ensure that none of them have any criminal record or none of them to make sure that you have a clear conscience to what you are doing. So it is not something that you want to swindle people with it because we have a lot of those news around that people set up things. So yes, we have gone through all these processes. So we have all the requisite documents that if anybody would want to partner anything, any information that you need from us, we have those requisite documents we can present to you.
Awesome.
Now, talking of a structure, which organizations such as this, we cannot miss out on that. We have our short-term action plan, and then we have our long-term action plan. But that is on the side. Structure again also could also mean the organogram of the organization. So one will ask, what is the organogram of the organization? So we have board of directors, and then we have the management team of the organization because dealing with international platform, one thing is before anybody will entrust you with their money or finance, they have to be very sure that they are not dealing with individual because it is difficult these days to deal with individual or to trust individual with money. So you have to ensure that you have the structure in place that anybody who walks in and want to support you in any way,
Yeah.
they can see those structures in place that will encourage them for them to do business with you. So we have a portfolio, and in that portfolio, when you go into the portfolio, you will see the president, and under the president, you will see the board of directors. Under the board of directors, you will see the management team. They are all there. Then aside that, because the organization has chapter in some parts of the world, for instance, we have a chapter in the USA, we have a chapter in the UK, and we have a chapter in Ghana. So we also have president, people who represent the organization in that capacity. Now, when you move from there, because we deal with students, we also have chapters in our various university campuses. So you will look at that structure also where we have the presidents, we have their structures, and with the executives, they are also there and you can see that. And when you drive down from there, then you can now move into our short-term action plan and the long-term action plan. Projects that we have executed, things that we have done, places that we have done it, referrals, people that you can contact if you want to do due diligence about the organization. You can do all those things on yourself. Now, talking of the short-term action plan where the organization is working on right now before we have to look into the long-term action plan is how possible the organization can reach out to students with the leadership series that we have. So this is the short-term action plan. So for us to be able to reach out to the student with leadership platform, as you said, helping them think outside the box, breaking the myth, and thinking differently from the traditional leadership that we have. It is super important for the organization to touch base with the students from their various campuses with this leadership. So we have a program, a conference we call Lead Yourself Conference. And this Lead Yourself Conference, we engage speakers, both national and international, to talk to the student about personal leadership, which is self-leadership. And it gives them guidance to how you can master to lead yourself. So we have that in place that we are working on. Now, we're doing mentorship for senior high schools, and this program is a project that actually has a long-term action plan, but we decided to couch it into the short-term action plan and have some part of the country that we can begin this with to see how successful that also is. So we are also doing that. Then when we go to the schools, there are some of the schools has needs, and you cannot be doing this program without supporting them also with their needs. So we support some of the schools with portable drinking water project, some of them with a computer lab. We do all these things for them. Now we're talking of the long-term action plan. The long-term action plan, this is what I would say. The organization is fortunate also to enter into partnership with NCCE. NCCE is a National Commission for Civic Education.
Okay.
National Commission for Civic Education. And this is a national platform. And we are fortunate that we are being called by them to partner with them to ensure that we take education to the rural communities of the country. So now, this actually opened the platform for us now to begin to do another survey, another research on what can we do to improve education in our rural communities. So we come up also with a method. Also, one of our resource men, Professor P.K. Richardson, we had a program with the University of Ghana, Legon, and in that session, he is a lecturer and he's a professor of that course. And in that section, we have other professors being present and other lecturers being present. And he made it clear to everybody that the university keep coming up with courses that are not helping our youth. And they need to think about this. So after that lecture, what we did was we begin to also do research into what can we do to help the university student. And one of the things that we came up with also has to do with you finish university like maybe just a year and you are done with your service. So when you apply for a job and they said you need to have 5 years working experience before they can employ you. How can a student who just finished school, just a year, having 5 years experience? Logically, it doesn't make sense. But this is what our employees put before us. So if this is what they are asking for, how can the organization come in to be able to help these students whilst they are in school? Because some of them spend 4 good years in school. So if they are asking for 3 years experience, 5 years experience, then we can come in to put you on the practical job. So what we did was to open a volunteering wing of our projects that we want to do. So this volunteering wing now open opportunity for the students that they can work with us in some sections. So we deploy some of them to these rural areas where we need education, proper education, and then we deploy them there. They go support those rural communities with education. So they support the teachers, they help them to teach. Then we come up also with public speaking courses, we come up with the mentorship courses. Then we come up with entrepreneurship, skill development, and others like that. So you need to tell us what you want to do. Then we will know where to place you. Some of them who need job placement, the organization sometimes get engaged other organizations. I will not call it cheap labor, but you have to know it's a volunteering work you are doing. So when you are in there, you may not be paid as somebody will be paid when somebody is on a full employment. So we deploy these people to those various organizations to help them work. The only reason for that is to help them gain experience. That at the end of the day, they can say they work with DDLF or they work with this organization, and we will be there to testify to that effect. This also is on the long-term action plan because we're looking at how we can reach other parts of the country with this. Then another thing that we have on the long-term action plan is when we started the mentorship program with the senior high schools, the topics that we are treating with them, some of the schools actually like it, and what they ask us to do is to help them write a curriculum on character development and entrepreneurship. So for about 6 months now, the organization touched base with our international partners, and we came out with a curriculum. The first institution that we're going to practice this with is Adisadel College, which is in Cape Coast. And we were invited by the old student union, and we done with everything. So now we're going to negotiate with them as to how the curriculum can be run, the number of university students that we need to teach these courses in there, how we can do the trainers, and this is what we are going to sit with them to do. So this also form part of our long-term project, because if we are successful in this area, what we intend doing is to touch base with other schools also, that we can run this program with them. We have a lot of things we do that I don't know if time will permit us, but the skill development project also is a community project that we're doing to support. Actually, this is carved to support women of skill. So we're looking at, in Ghana, we have a section of women that they call them Kayayi. These Kayayi women are women that normally travel from the north after their senior high schools. They don't have any work to do. So they come to the city and they help people carry goods. But you have a counter with these women, they speak very good English, but they don't have support.
Wow.
So how can we help these women also to give them skills so that they can also have something to do for themselves? So this is where we are as a DDLF, and this is what we're doing.
Wow, I am blown away. I mean, from just telling us the structure, you've covered so many things. I was just thinking of my questions, but you've covered, the importance of partnership with other businesses and organizations, just from your
Right,
structure. You
right,
talked about the personal development need, that
right,
you've had to go through, and
right,
seeing other people that you are working on as your delegates. And
right,
also, I think I was going to ask about employing the right employees, but you've actually touched based on the fact that everyone goes through due diligence. I mean, you've blown you've
mhm.
blown our minds. I'm sure someone is out there and is thinking, oh wow,
Thank you so
oh
much.
wow, wow,
Right,
wow, wow. Well done, well done. I kind of would say well done for all the hard work. And I'm so
thank
impressed as well. Not, I've been impressed over, but one of the things that caught my attention again is the power with women. I like the
right,
fact that, what you're doing is inclusive. And there's
right,
that level of equality as well across
right.
all gender.
Yes,
Well done
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
If you are watching us, this is Johnny Season 3, God's Business Finale. And, our guest today is David Douglas, the founder of David Douglas Leadership Forum. And he's been speaking to us about the structure, collaboration, how the business plan has been put into place, and of course, how the idea came about. Thank you so much. Now, one thing that I must ask you, because is a question that I believe someone like you, I'll say, out there, many David Douglases out there are probably thinking, okay, even though this man is doing really great,
Hmm.
we can tell that it needs financial financial capability to carry
Right,
on doing this and running
right,
this week in and week out and having different other projects as
right,
well, and also collaborating across the globe.
right,
This must cost something. Can you
right.
give us an hint? You don't have to give us everything. An hint of how David Douglas Leadership Firm has been able to remain financially afloat. What are your approach, your financial approach to remain afloat as an organization?
Thank you very much. Yes, so this is an area that anytime that people ask, it's difficult for you to explain, but you have to. Actually, when we started this whole project, financing was basically me. and some few other people out there, because I didn't want us to get to a point where we would drive people away because we kind of taxing them to give money whilst they were not, or they are not ready at the time to support. So what then do? You have to start something for people to see and to believe in you. And I can tell you that, yes, we are driving into 2 years. In November, the organization will be celebrating our 2 years anniversary. And if you give me the opportunity, we will invite people in, and we have some great men coming all over the world. Apostle Joshua Selma will be there because we'll be having a session with him. We actually will be using that these 2 years to launch our magazine, and which will be centered on leadership, business, and in innovation. So we'll be launching that. Now, we started this whole thing basically from our own pocket without depending on anybody. So we drive it to a point where we have people that connected with us. So with that connection, what we did also is to create a membership. And in creating a membership, because we want to develop a community. So when we created that membership, members have to donate something to support the organization. So that is what is driving us till now. We're looking forward to where we can get to that point where we have corporate support, where we can have grants and we can have donation from other institutions and organizations to support what we are doing. But I will say we are not far from there, because where we get into now, our collaboration with the National Council for Civic Education is a great one, and all of us have an education at heart, So when we put our document, somebody will say further and better document in place, we will enter into the market and to see how we can have people to support us with what we are doing. Now, there are other things that we do from behind. Not everything is charity. The organization also provide training for institutions. We organize workshop for institutions. We are waiting to be accredited by the National Teachers Council of Ghana, where we can provide training for teachers across the country. We are almost through with that document, and very soon we will have that opportunity. So this is one source by which we generate income. The other source also is with Ghana Medical Laboratory Scientists. We already in the session with them, so we've been doing training for them with our resource men that we have. So whatever is generated from these workshops and with these trainings, we tailor that into supporting the organization and what we want to do. So these are means by which we support the organization. We're doing this training for other institutions like the enterprises and others like that. And second company that will be calling us for us to do this training for them is Enterprise Insurance. And I believe Enterprise Insurance is international insurance company. Everybody know them. So they have also contracted us to provide training for them in leadership, in customer care and marketing. So we generate our source of income from these works and then tailor them to support the work that we do.
Wow. 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 Amazing, amazing, amazing work. Well done. Well done. I wish we could stay here till forever. But, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, please just applaud Mr. David Douglas. Thank you for being so transparent with us and not holding back any information. If there's anything that we can pick from Mr. David Douglas' story and journey today, is that wherever there is a problem, look for a solution.
Exactly.
And in that place of providing solution, you would get that hunger of even wanting to, quest a bigger problem. And the bigger the problem is, the bigger solution required from you, the bigger stretch of a stretch is needed from you. And that's how you want to expand. So if you're thinking, I want to get into entrepreneurship, I want to do something, but I don't have an idea. What is that thing that seems like a problem? And it seems to be a worry and a concern for you. You just want to do something about it. Perhaps that could be a way to look into. Thank you very much, everyone. Well, sadly,
I don't want to interrupt, but I pray we will have another session. Actually, before we begin with this, I was actually into full-time business. We were into importation of sugar and rice.
Okay.
That is what we were doing before. So I can fully talk about the entrepreneurship when it comes to that area and who is entrepreneur, It is not everybody who is called into business. It's not everybody who is called into that area. You have to know your bearing and you have to know your calling and you have to know your purpose, because we have people who are into business, but they are not called into business and they are making shipwreck of things that they are doing. When you approach these people, you want to coach them and to tell them about what they have to do. They may not understand you. But at the end of the day, they got to know some way, somehow. When they link the connectors together, they realize that what you are telling them is the truth. So we will find another time where we can talk purely about entrepreneurship, and then we can touch base with the details.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Yes. I guess it's our blessed day. We're blessed every day. But really, I believe you've just summed up everything for us. For the past 6 weeks, we've been talking about God's business. And it is very important that in everything that we choose to do and use our might for, let us have the clarity. Is this my calling? Is this God's purpose for me? So that's even the first start of the journey in your words. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to avoid the word sadly. Well, I hate to bear this news to you, but I just have to tell you, for everything that has a beginning comes to an end. It's been a great pleasure for the past 6 weeks, bringing on board with myself wonderful, powerful pace setters, trend setters, amazing, hardworking, solution-driven, glorious, blessed women, and of course, a man with me to come and share 1 or 2 things with you regarding their businesses and their projects. It is our prayer at Wonderful Way CIC that you've been able to pick 1 or 2 things that will do you well and be advantageous for your business if you are in one. Perhaps we want to hope that you've been encouraged to pick up that business again, or you've actually gotten clarity regarding what the next step should be. What next step it should be for you or for your business if you intend to go that route. My name is Bolanle Oyedira, and I would like to say goodbye. Until next time, we would come again with Journey, Season 4, Osh Osh. You know how we do. We wait for God's leading and on what to speak about for each season. But Season 3 is wrapping up in God's glory. Thank you very much for joining us. And of course, we'd like to thank the only man that has been on Journey Season 3, God's Business, Mr. David Douglas of David Douglas Leadership Forum. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for answering the call. And that's it from me to you, from everyone from Wonderful Way CIC. We say goodbye, love, peace, and joy always. Bye for now, and God bless. Wow, what an episode. I hope you have been blessed with that episode that you've just watched. Well, I have been blessed. Perhaps you're thinking, I am on a journey myself and I do not know how to go about this. Well, if there's anything that is certain, what is certain is we all need Jesus on this journey of life. At every pace, at every time, at every season, we need Jesus to journey with us. Are you watching and you're yet to give your life to Jesus? Why don't you bow your heart wherever you are and say this prayer with me? Dear Lord Jesus, thank you for yet another day to hear about you and your love for me. I am convinced in my heart that truly you are the only one that can save me. Today, I confess you as my Lord and my Savior. I confess that indeed you died on the cross for my sins and you rose again after the third day. Please come into my life. Be the Lord over my life, now and forever. Amen. That's it. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family of Jesus. Well, this is all we have for you on today's episode. Remember to join us next week for yet another time on Journey. I would like to please plead with every one of you, if you can please like this video, share this video, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Perhaps you would like to click that notification button so that you can be notified whenever we've uploaded a new episode for Journey. God bless you and see you next time. Bye for now. Bolanle Oyedira.